Chapter 31. Too narcissistic. Mu Shang told Lin Nuannuan how to use the sourcing leaf fruits. After Mu Shang left, Lin Nuannuan went into the cellar, opened the stone jar, and took out a sourcing leaf fruit. Ever since Baidi brought them back, Baidi had taken 2 out for Lin Nuannuan to eat every day. Now that she had eaten more than 10, Lin Nuannuan felt that her physique had indeed improved a lot. At first, she thought that this fruit was like a health supplement that could nourish the body. But after hearing Mu Zhang's words, she realized that sourcing leaf fruits could also be used in another way. Recalling what Mu Shang had said, Lin Nuannuan couldn't help but blush again. She kept the fruit in her fanny pack. Lin Nuannuan had just emerged from the cellar when she saw Bai Di, who was about to enter. They both froze when they met. He was the first to ask, "What are you doing down here?" Lin Nuannuan's gaze drifted. "I was arranging the food." "Didn't you just arrange everything last night?" Lin Nuannuan couldn't answer, so she stopped talking and ran around him with the wooden cup in her hand. Bai Di watched her leave while thinking about something. The little female seemed to be hiding something from him. Lin Nuannuan had just walked out of the cellar when she heard Shuang Yun calling out to her. "Huan, come out for a moment." Lin Nuannuan was still a little afraid to see him. She slowly walked out of the house. When she saw Shuang Yun, her eyes involuntarily avoided him. "What is it?" Shuang Yun saw that she was shy. He liked her very much and could not help but want to hug her and caress her. But now, he had business to attend to. He had to swallow the urge. Shuang Yun raised his chin slightly. "You don't have to be embarrassed. There's no hurry for us to mate. I have something else to tell you." Lin Nuannuan flew into a rage out of humiliation. "I'm not in a hurry to mate with you, all right? You're in no hurry." Shuang Yun looked at her helplessly, his tone patronizing. He obviously took her denial as a sign of shyness. Lin Nuannuan was getting angry. How could there be such a narcissistic person in this world? Shuang Yun pinched her small face. The smooth and tender touch satisfied him. "Don't be anxious. When this is done, we'll mate immediately." "I don't want to mate with you, you narcissist." His eyes were filled with love. What a cute female who doesn't mean what she says. In order to stop herself from vomiting blood from anger, Lin Nuannuan decided to change the topic. "What do you want with me? Tell me quickly. I'm busy." He didn't beat about the bush with her. "Li Wei is pregnant," he said simply. "Huh?" Lin Nuannuan did not understand why he was telling her this. She was stunned for a moment before a bold guess popped into her mind. "Don't tell me the baby she's carrying is yours?" Shuang Yun's face immediately turned green. "What nonsense are you talking about? I have nothing to do with Li Wei. How could she be pregnant with my child?" Lin Nuannuan remembered how Shuang Yun had confronted Li Wei without any hesitation. She also felt that her guess was indeed a little unbelievable. She cleared her throat and pretended she hadn't said anything. "Then why are you telling me this?" she asked. "Li Wei bullied you before this. We can't let this go. I was going to keep her in jail until the snow melted and then throw her out with all her male beasts. But Li Wei is pregnant now." Pregnant female beasts were very delicate. If they were not careful, their lives were at risk. Now, those male mates of hers were kicking up a fuss, demanding that Shuang Yun release Li Wei. Shuang Yun had never been kind to females. Furthermore, Li Wei had once bullied his little female. He would always remember this grudge. He didn't care that Li Wei was pregnant. He couldn't spare her that easily. However, the old witch doctor had called him over today and told him to release Li Wei. Li Wei was a female after all. She was even pregnant now. If anything happened to her in jail, none of her male mates would let the matter go. If they really fought, it would definitely be another life and death battle. Shuang Yun said to Lin Nuannuan, "Li Wei was arrested because she bullied you. As the victim of this matter, it's up to you to decide what to do with her." Lin Nuannuan blinked slowly. "If I want to kill her for revenge, will you agree? You shouldn't get your hands dirty by doing something like murder. Wait here while I go and kill her for you." With that, he prepared to go and kill someone in jail. Lin Nuannuan quickly pulled him back. The crime of killing a female is not light. Besides, she's pregnant now. Aren't you afraid of being accused and scolded? Xuangyun raised his chin, his face looking defiant. I don't care what others think. At worst, I won't be the tribe leader anymore. I'll take you away from the rock mountain and we can live somewhere else together. Lin Nuannuan was touched. She laughed in spite of herself. Never mind. As much as I hate Li Wei, the baby in her belly is innocent. I won't go so far as to murder a baby. Xuangyun was stunned. You want to let her go? Yes. Let's let her go. He looked at her with a steady gaze. You're willing to back down and let Li Wei go because you don't want to put me in a difficult position, right? Lin Nuannuan looked confused. Huh? I know you like me a lot and are being considerate of me. I'm really touched. Lin Nuannuan, don't worry. I'll be back to mate with you as soon as I'm done dealing with Li Wei. Lin Nuannuan blushed. Who wants to mate with you? I'll go first. Be good and wait at home for me to come back. He kissed her on the cheek and rushed off. Lin Nuannuan was furious. She wanted to chase after him and grab him by the shoulders to shake him. Who wants to mate with you? You're too narcissistic. Xuangyun opened the cell door and released Li Wei and her male mates. Li Wei was delighted to see him. Xuangyun was a beast who didn't mean what he said. He might look cold and emotionless, but he actually cared about her. Her eyes lit up when she saw the star pattern on Xuangyun's arm. Xuangyun, you've evolved. That's amazing. After I give birth to the child in my stomach, I'll immediately help you give birth to a child of your own. I'm so beautiful, and you're so powerful. Our child will definitely be the most powerful cub. As she was overwhelmed by her emotions, she lunged towards him, eager to express her feelings for him. Xuangyun grabbed her neck, his eyes filled with disgust. I'm only letting you go because you're pregnant. If you dare to cause trouble again, I'll definitely kill you. Li Wei shivered at the murderous look in his eyes, her face suddenly turning pale. Those mates of hers rushed to surround her while shouting angrily, "Let her go! She's a female! She's pregnant!" Xuangyun released his grip and tossed Li Wei into the arms of those male beasts as though she was trash. He said coldly, "If you want to keep her alive, keep an eye on her. Don't let her appear in front of me again, or I might lose control and kill her." Chapter 32. I will always love you. During dinner, Xuangyun kept saying to Lin Nuannuan, "Eat more meat. That's how you'll have the strength to mate later." Lin Nuannuan was so angry that she wanted to throw the roasted meat at his face. She scowled at him. "I don't want to mate with you." Xuangyun argued back, "But you already promised me. Even if I did agree to mate with you, it doesn't have to be now." Xuangyun tried his best to convince her. "It's winter now, which is the best time for beasts to mate. If our cubs can be born in spring, there'll be an abundance of food. They'll definitely grow very strong." Lin Nuannuan insisted, saying, "No, I won't mate with you now. If you don't mate with me now, who will you mate with?" Xuangyun was furious. The roasted meat in his hand was squeezed by his grip. Lin Nuannuan was slightly startled, and her gaze instinctively turned to Bai Di. Even if she had to mate, she'd prioritize Bai Di. Bai Di was the first beast she'd seen since coming into this world. He'd always been kind to her. His place in her heart was unshakable. The sudden appearance of Xuangyun made her feel guilty towards Bai Di. She wanted to make it up to him as much as possible. Bai Di happened to be watching her too, and his lips were curved into a smile when she glanced his way. "Have you had enough?" He was already extremely handsome, and when he smiled, he was even more devastatingly beautiful. Lin Nuannuan couldn't help but blush and reply softly, "Yes, I'm full." "Then go rest. I'll clean up." "Let me clean up with you." Xuangyun watched the interactions between the two of them. Although there was nothing special about them, they shared a tacit understanding, and it felt like no one else could intrude. It made him feel like a third wheel. Xuangyun suddenly panicked. He grabbed Nuannuan's wrist, his dark green eyes locked on hers. "You want to give birth to Bai Di's child first, don't you?" Lin Nuannuan couldn't answer, and her face was filled with embarrassment. Seeing her panic and dodge, Xuangyun's heart immediately sank. She didn't need to open her mouth to say anything. Her reaction had given him the answer. Xu Angyun released his grip, rose in silence, and walked away. Lin Nuannuan did not chase after him. He'd have to face this sooner or later anyway. If he couldn't handle it, he could wait for the 3 months to end when their mate contract would automatically dissolve. He'd then be free again. When she and Bai Di had finished cleaning up the place and were ready for bed, Bai Di made her bed for her as usual. Then, he prepared to walk away. Lin Nuannuan suddenly grabbed his wrist. Wait a moment. Bai Di stopped. What is it? Lin Nuannuan avoided his gaze. Her face was red, and her voice was so soft that it was almost inaudible. Why you can stay tonight? He looked surprised. Aren't you afraid I might do something like that to you again? She stammered. I'm not afraid to do that with you. I'm just afraid of the pain. I'm sorry, he said. It was my fault for hurting you the last time. He was overwhelmed with guilt, and his heart ached for her. Lin Nuannuan took out the sourcing leaf fruit in her fanny pack and said dryly, Musheng told me that using this can help relieve my pain, so I'll try it with you first. Since they had decided to become mates and spend the rest of their lives together, there was no avoiding SX. Although it made Lin Nuannuan feel embarrassed to take the initiative to speak about it, she still mustered the courage to say what was on her mind. Bai Di had been kind to her, and she wanted to be kind to him. Bai Di's heart melted. He held the little female in his arms gently as if she were the most precious treasure in the world. You don't have to force it, even without meeting. You'll always be my mate. I'll always love you. Lin Nuannuan's eyes turned red. Her voice shook as she asked, Do you love me? Of course. You're the one I love the most. Lin Nuannuan had received too little love in her life, so she cherished everything she got. Nothing else matters as long as you love me. She wrapped her arms around his neck and tilted her head back, kissing his face with clumsy movements. The softness of her lips on his cheek made his heart flutter. Although he was a fierce tiger, his heart was filled with tenderness at this moment. Bai Di lowered Lin Nuannuan onto the stone bed, her soft, petite body falling onto the animal hide. Her delicate face was flushed, and her long eyelashes fluttered. She was so nervous. He kissed her on the lips before speaking in a low and gentle voice. Let me know if it hurts. I'll stop immediately. Lin Nuannuan did not dare to look at his face. She closed her eyes and replied, As if opening a gift, Bai Di removed her hide dress. Her fair and tender skin was as smooth as cow's milk. Bai Di felt an inexpressible urge inside him, but his strong sense of self-control kept him sober. He bent his head and kissed her all over with a sense of devotion. Her fair body was stained an alluring red. It was like a rose that had just bloomed and was waiting to be picked. Bai Di put the fruit in his mouth, chewed it, and smeared the juice on the little female. As soon as the green-colored juice touched her body, it immediately stimulated her to secrete a slippery, transparent mucus. The fragrance of the fruit filled the air, and Lin Nuannuan felt her body getting hotter and hotter, while her wet eyes were filled with confusion and desire. Bai Di leaned close to her and whispered, Can I go in now? Lin Nuannuan was extremely embarrassed. She covered her face and said softly, Yes. He kissed the back of her hand, his gaze incredibly affectionate. I'll be gentle. She still felt a little uncomfortable when he put it in, but it wasn't nearly as painful as the last time. She could just about bear it. He had been watching her carefully to detect any changes in her expression. He saw her frown and stop what he was doing. What is it? He asked nervously. Does it hurt? Lin Nuannuan whispered. It's all right. Relieved to know she wasn't in pain, he continued. At this moment, Lin Nuannuan felt a warm current flowing out from under her. The familiarity of it terrified her. She opened her eyes at once and pushed him away from her. Bai Di was aghast. What happened? Did I hurt you? Lin Nuannuan slowly reached for the space under her. Her hands were covered in blood. Bloody hell. It was her bloody period again. Bai Di saw the blood on her hands, and his face paled. I hurt you again. It's not your fault. Lin Nuannuan quickly interrupted him. It's my period again. I bleed non-stop for a few days every month. You've seen it happen before. It's fine. She had actually gotten her period while she was in the middle of having sex. How embarrassing. Chapter 33. Sick. Lin Nuannuan slowly tore open the sanitary pad given by the system and stuffed it into her underwear. She sat on the bed and wrapped herself in a thick but soft hide blanket. Her face was pale from blood loss, and she looked very depressed. She had finally found the courage to make her relationship with Bai Di official, but she was forced to abort it because of her period's sudden visit. She couldn't even bear to look at Bai Di, who had to pretend to be calm even though he was suppressing his urges. It was a tragedy. Lin Nuannuan buried her face in the hide blanket, revealing only her large, uneasy eyes. I'm sorry. Bai Di took her in his arms, blanket and all. His gaze was very gentle. It's all right. We have a lot of time. We can try again in the future. The next morning, as soon as Xuangyun walked through the door, he smelled the thick scent of blood. This smell of blood was different from ordinary blood. There was a sweet smell mixed in. His expression changed as he rushed into the bedroom. When he saw Lin Nuannuan's pale face as she wrapped herself in the hide blanket, his heart tightened. What happened to you? Are you hurt? I smell blood. I'm going to get the old witch doctor to take a look at you. Lin Nuannuan quickly stopped him. I'm not injured. Don't trouble the old witch doctor. Then why do you smell of blood? Don't lie to me. You must be hurt. Lin Nuannuan was very listless now and did not even have the strength to speak. Hence, Bai Di took the initiative to call Xuangyun aside and explain Lin Nuannuan's special constitution. Xuangyun's heart relaxed. Nothing else mattered as long as Nuannuan was not injured. But when he saw how weak she looked, he couldn't help but frown. You look very uncomfortable. Do you really not want to get examined by the witch doctor? No, it's a normal reaction. I'll be fine after a few days of rest. Xuangyun helped her lie down and covered her with the blanket. Then rest well. No matter what happens in the next few days, don't move. We'll help you do everything. Lin Nuannuan looked at him in amusement. Why do you look gentler now? His expression stiffened. Then he snorted. It's your imagination. Oh, really? Xuangyun covered her eyes and ordered her. On the count of 3, you need to sleep. 1, 2, 3. Lin Nuannuan chuckled. Xuangyun was furious. What are you laughing at? I find you annoying at times, but at other times, you can be quite adorable. The tips of Xuangyun's ears turned slightly red, but his tone was still firm. Adorable is a word used to describe females and cubs. While they chatted, Bai Di silently retreated from the bedroom. He went to the cellar and took red berries from the sealed stone jar. The old witch doctor had told him that this fruit could help replenish one's blood. It would be very helpful for Nuannuan to eat these whenever she was on her period. It was a pity that there weren't too many of them stored at home. He would have to ask the old witch doctor if he had any more. For some reason, when Lin Nuannuan's period came this time, it was very painful. She curled into a ball underneath the blanket. Her face was deathly pale, and she was in so much pain that she couldn't even speak. The pain eased a little as Bai Di fed her the berries, but she still looked terrible and weak. Xuangyun watched anxiously. Ignoring Lin Nuannuan's words earlier, he raced to drag the old witch doctor over. Lang Zhu examined Lin Nuannuan and explained slowly. It's because you were often at the entrance of the cave some time ago. The wind and snow were too strong, and your body is very weak to begin with. Logically speaking, you should have fallen ill back then. But Bai Di fed you sourcing leaf fruits and helped you to suppress the illness. Now that you're on your period and your body is weak, that illness took the opportunity to act up again. Xuangyun asked nervously, will she ever recover? Lang Zhu stroked his wide beard. Of course. She'll get better. She just has to suffer a little. He then squeezed a few kinds of fruits into a juice and mixed it with some strange powder. Then, he held it to Lin Nuannuan's mouth. Drink this. You'll feel better. The color of the medicine looked very strange, and the smell made one break out in a cold sweat. Lin Nuannuan didn't want to drink, but Xuangyun and Bai Di didn't give her a chance to refuse. It was rare for them to work together. The two of them coaxed and cajoled Nuannuan, forcing her to drink her medicine. The taste of the medicine was simply so bitter that Lin Nuannuan almost fainted. Baidi had to shove several sweet fruits into her mouth to help her suppress the bitterness. Langju smiled and said, "From now on, drink a bowl every day for 5 consecutive days. You'll be fine after that." She had to drink that for another 5 days. Lin Nuannuan's face turned even paler. She finally understood what Lang Ju meant when he said, "Suffer a little." How was this just suffering a little? This was a lot worse than that. Lin Nuannuan recuperated at home for 7 days. For the past 7 days, Baidi and Shuang Yun would watch over her every day, afraid that she would disobey the witch doctor's instructions and sneak out to play. Lin Nuannuan was helpless. She was not a child. Why would she sneak out? After 7 days, her period finally ended. The bloody smell on Lin Nuannuan's body had completely disappeared. The first thing she did when she got out of bed was boil water and wipe herself down. As she was so strictly watched over for 7 days, she couldn't even get out of bed during that time. She ate and drank in bed. She had to eat a dozen red berries a day too. She almost thought she wasn't on her period but was paralyzed in bed with a terminal illness. Ji Yuan suddenly ran over. He who was usually calm and composed became especially excited. "Mu Sheng is pregnant. It's my child." Lin Nuannuan was pleasantly surprised. "Really? That's great. Congratulations." Jin Yuan asked sincerely. "Mu Sheng won't be able to go out for a while. Can you go and chat with her whenever you're free?" Of course. It was the first time Lin Nuannuan came into contact with a pregnant female. She was both curious and expectant. She really didn't know what a baby beast would look like. She went to Mu Zhang's house while accompanied by Baidi. The pregnant Mu Sheng looked no different from usual, except that her waist was slightly thicker and her figure had become plump and round. As soon as she saw Nuannuan, she was overjoyed and hurriedly beckoned her to sit down. Lin Nuannuan congratulated her. Mu Sheng touched her stomach and smiled. "I'm already pregnant. You have to work hard too." Lin Nuannuan was a little embarrassed. "Let's leave this to fate." Mu Sheng studied her expression carefully and suddenly asked, "Don't tell me you haven't mated with your mates yet?" Lin Nuannuan quickly covered her mouth. "Lower your voice." Baidi and Jiu Yuan were not far away. What if they heard her? How embarrassing. Chapter 34. "You were trying to hurt me." Mu Sheng removed her hand. "Does it still hurt? Did the sourcing leaf fruit not work?" Lin Nuannuan's face turned red as she stammered. "After using the sourcing leaf fruit, it didn't hurt anymore. It's just that I haven't been feeling well recently. So there's no..." "I see." Mu Sheng breathed a sigh of relief. "A female's body is indeed delicate. You must take more care of yourself. In any case, you're both young. There'll be plenty of opportunities to mate and conceive." Lin Nuannuan was embarrassed by her words. She lowered her head and replied softly, Winter was indeed a very suitable season for mating. One by one, the females of the tribe became pregnant. It just so happened that the weather was very good today. It was a rare sunny day, and the sun shone brightly on the snow. The females gathered at the cave's entrance, chatting and eating fruits as they watched the snow. Many of them were pregnant and discussing parenting with each other. The atmosphere was very harmonious. As one of the pregnant females, Mu Sheng was naturally among them. She pulled Lin Nuannuan over to accompany her. This was the first time Lin Nuannuan had come into contact with so many female beasts. The Rock Wolf tribe had a large number of beasts. There were about 19 females. And right now, there were a total of 18 females gathered here. Almost all the wolf females came, except Shuang Yun's mother. Lin Nuannuan observed them curiously. They didn't look beautiful. Maybe it was because of their beast form. Or maybe it was because the conditions in the primitive world were so harsh that their skin was rough, their facial features were rough and tough, and they were abnormally tall. According to Lin Nuannuan's estimation, Their average height was above 1.7 meters. She, who was only 1.58 meters tall, became the shortest among them. Coupled with her baby face and a little baby fat, she looked like an underage female cub. Every female who saw her couldn't help but ask how old she was. Lin Nuannuan was especially depressed. All the beasts present were females, and all the male beasts had temporarily left so that they could freely chat and play. Of course, there were also male beasts who were worried about their mates. They hid in a corner not far away and silently waited for their mates to have enough fun before bringing them home. Xuangyun was one of them. He crouched among a group of male beasts, his short silver hair making him stand out. Xuangyun was the tribe leader. All the male beasts present knew and admired him. After knowing that he had already found a mate, everyone was surprised and wished him well. Xuangyun still looked arrogant, but he was actually very happy. Next, these male beasts began to exchange their experiences of taking care of their females. As a newcomer, Xuangyun did not have many chances to speak. Most of the time, he just pricked up his ears and listened carefully to others before silently memorizing their words. Just then, Li Wei suddenly appeared. She walked up to the many females with her belly sticking out and looked arrogantly at them. "Where's my spot?" The females looked at each other. Mu Shang frowned and spoke bluntly. "None of us invited you. You don't have a spot here." As Li Wei had previously bullied Huan, it had caused Mu Shang to have a very bad impression of Li Wei. Later, under the influence of Mu Shang, all the females of Rock Wolf tribe had no patience for the overbearing Li Wei. They were both beautiful females, but Huan was obedient and cute, while Li Wei thought highly of herself and didn't think much of anyone. How annoying. No one invited her to this female gathering, but Li Wei showed up uninvited. When she heard Mu Zhang's words and saw the cold gazes of the other females, she couldn't help but sneer. "I know you're jealous that I'm beautiful and have many strong male mates around me, so that's why you're banding together to ostracize me. I've seen this kind of thing often. Don't think I'll be afraid of you." Her words provoked outrage. The eldest woman present stepped forward and said sternly, "You're not welcome here. Please leave immediately." "Who do you think you are? Who are you to tell me to leave?" Instead of walking away, Li Wei took 2 more steps forward as if she had nothing to fear. With her big belly, no one dared to touch her. They could only step aside aggrievedly. Li Wei was pleased with herself. She didn't care about this gathering, but she wasn't happy about it. Why should that little salty be loved by everyone while she could only be forgotten in a corner? She was going to disrupt this party. She only felt happy when everyone else was unhappy. Ignoring the unfriendly gazes of the crowd, Li Wei walked up to Lin Nuannuan with her belly sticking out and looked her up and down. "I heard you've found a mate. Why aren't you pregnant yet? Is there something wrong with your body and you can't conceive?" Lin Nuannuan frowned. "What I do has nothing to do with you. Reproduction is the most important task for females if you can't even get pregnant. What's the point of the tribe keeping you? If I were you, I wouldn't have the dignity to stay here anymore." Lin Nuannuan didn't want to talk nonsense with her, so she looked away. Li Wei, who was ignored, refused to stop. She stepped forward to grab Lin Nuannuan's shoulder. "Hey, I'm talking to you. Did you hear me?" Lin Nuannuan waved her hand away. "Don't touch me." Li Wei rolled her eyes and fell to the ground. She held her stomach and shouted, "Ouch! My stomach hurts. Lin Nuannuan, why did you push me?" Everyone jumped. 2 females were afraid that something would happen to Li Wei, so they quickly went forward to help her up. However, Li Wei refused to get up and just lay on the ground while crying out. "Oh no! Lin Nuannuan wants to kill me and the child in my stomach. She can't give birth, so she wants to kill someone else's child. How vicious." Lin Nuannuan had never seen such a shameless shrew before. She was so angry that her face turned pale. "Don't be ridiculous. I didn't push you. You fell. I'm not a fool. How could I fall for no reason? You're obviously lying. You were trying to hurt me." Li Wei was crying and shouting. None of the other females around her knew what to do. The commotion here attracted the attention of the male beasts not far away. They rushed over and asked what was going on. Seeing that so many beasts had come, Li Wei shouted even harder, trying her best to discredit Lin Nuannuan. The male beasts didn't know the whole story, nor did they know what the situation was. When they heard what Li Wei said, they all looked at Lin Nuannuan suspiciously. Lin Nuannuan couldn't defend herself. She kept retreating. "It wasn't me. It has nothing to do with me." Only Shuang Yun knew that Lin Nuannuan had been wronged. He grabbed Li Wei's neck, his eyes filled with killing intent. "If you dare to slander Nuannuan again, I'll cut off your tongue." Li Wei was too frightened to speak now. But Lin Nuannuan was still retreating. She was very afraid that the male beasts would believe Li Wei and really think that she was a vicious person who harmed a pregnant female. What she didn't notice was that she had taken too many steps backward. It was only when she missed her footing that she suddenly came back to her senses. She had actually walked to the edge of the cliff. Shuang Yun raced toward her, terrified. He screamed her name in a gut-wrenching voice, "Huan." However, he was too late. Lin Nuannuan had already fallen off the cliff. Everyone was stunned by this turn of events. Shuang Yun chased her to the edge of the cliff and was prepared to jump. However, Ji Yuan snapped back to his senses and grabbed Shuang Yun's arm. "Don't do anything stupid," he roared. "This is a cliff. If you jump, you'll definitely die." Chapter 35. Sangyi. The moment Lin Huan fell off the cliff, she heard the system notification. "Warning. Warning. The host's life is in danger. The system has activated the self-protection program. Please be prepared for spatial transfer." When Lin Nuannuan was about to fall to the ground, she suddenly blacked out and could not see anything. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself lying on a layer of thick snow. A biting chill surrounded her, chilling her to the bone. Lin Nuannuan struggled to get up. She first checked her body and found that she was intact and uninjured. The system was awesome. She looked up and saw nothing but white snow. The sun was still hanging in the sky. It fell on her, but she felt no warmth. She searched for a long time before she saw the top of the rock mountain in the far distance. She didn't expect the system to move her so far away to save her. It would take a lot of effort to walk back. Lin Nuannuan hugged her arms, retracted her neck, and strode toward the rock mountain with her frozen legs. She had to get back before Bai Di and Shuang Yun got worried. She walked for a long time until even the sun had set. The rock mountain still seemed a long way off. Without the sun, the temperature was even lower. Fortunately, the snow could refract light. Even at night, it was not that dark that everything before her was completely invisible. Lin Nuannuan was cold and hungry. She really couldn't walk anymore. She wanted to find a place to hide and wait for dawn to break. There was nothing to see in the forest but trees and rocks buried in snow and ice. She searched for a long time before she managed to find a small stone cave. There was nothing in the cave, and so Lin Nuannuan sat with her arms crossed for a while before she realized that she would definitely freeze if this continued. She touched a fanny pack she always carried, which contained the tinder and the sheepskin illustrated book, as well as a few sweet fruits to satisfy her cravings. There was a bone knife too. If she had known that she would end up in such a situation, she would have stuffed a few pieces of meat into her fanny pack. Lin Nuannuan ate a sweet fruit, but instead of feeling full, she felt even hungrier. She clutched the remaining 5 sweet fruits and looked at them. In the end, she couldn't bring herself to eat them. She stuffed the sweet fruits back into her fanny pack. She would only eat them when she was too hungry. Lin Nuannuan went to the vicinity of the cave to look for tinder, but she unexpectedly found a beast lying in the snow. She hurried over and helped the beast to his feet. He was a handsome male beast dressed in a gray and white robe that looked very much like cotton. His long black hair was loose, and he had a pure black diamond-shaped gem on his forehead. There was a deep wound on his waist. The blood had frozen, so it was not flowing out. However, the mangled appearance still scared Lin Nuannuan. Lin Nuannuan pushed his shoulder. "Hey, wake up!" The guy didn't react. Lin Nuannuan's heart skipped a beat. Could he be dead? While trembling, she put her finger under his nose. His breathing was shallow, but he was still alive. Lin Nuannuan looked around. This beast was the only one here. If she left him alone here, He might freeze to death. Gritting her teeth, she helped him to his feet and staggered back into the cave. The already narrow cave became even more cramped because of the addition of one more person. Lin Nuannuan found some branches and lit them with tinder. She finally felt a little warmth. With the firelight, she observed the beast. He was very handsome. His eyebrows were thin, and his lips were small. His skin was so pale that it seemed to have no color at all. His long black hair hung down his cheeks, making him look like an elegant yet sickly beauty. Looking at the way he was dressed, he didn't look like an ordinary beast. Lin Nuannuan stretched out her fingers and secretly touched the fabric of his clothes. The color was indeed very similar to cotton, but it was lighter and softer than cotton. It felt smooth in her hand. From the beasts she'd come into contact with, she could tell that the beasts here were still living in the Stone Age. Their clothes were mainly sewn from animal skin, and the workmanship was rough while the style was simple. But this beast clearly came from a place with a higher standard of living. There was not only fabric there but gems. Lin Nuannuan hoped that this beast would survive, so that she could learn more from him. Unconsciously, she closed her eyes and fell asleep. Not long after she fell asleep, the unconscious Sang Yi suddenly woke up. He opened his eyes, revealing his pupils that were as black as ink. After a brief daze, his gaze quickly turned sharp and cold. Where am I? What about the guys who were after me? Sang Yi noticed someone else beside him. It was a petite female. She was asleep and she was wearing an animal hide dress. Her skin was very fair, and her facial features were exquisite. Even in the temple, he had never seen such a beautiful female before. A gust of cold wind suddenly blew in from outside the cave. Snow drifted in, causing Lin Nuannuan to shiver. Seeing that she was about to wake up, Sang Yi immediately closed his eyes and pretended to still be unconscious. Lin Nuannuan opened her eyes and glanced outside the cave. The wind and snow were getting stronger, but the fire in front of her was getting dimmer. She quickly added more firewood to the fire. The fire was suddenly bright again. Lin Nuannuan walked to Sang Yi's side and reached out to touch his forehead. Fortunately, there was no fever. The ice on his wound had melted, and blood was seeping out. She pulled out the bone knife and cut a piece of cloth from Sang Yi's clothes to bandage his wound. She moved very gently and carefully. Sang Yi had never enjoyed such delicate care. He couldn't help but open his eyes. The female looked even more beautiful in his eyes now. Her fair and delicate skin was absolutely alluring. Lin Nuannuan realized that he was awake and was very surprised. "You're finally awake." Sang Yi looked at her bright smile, and his mood involuntarily improved. However, he was used to keeping his emotions to himself. Even though he was in a good mood, he maintained a cold expression. "Did you save me?" "Thank you." Sang Yi wanted to sit up, but Lin Nuannuan quickly pressed down on his shoulder. "Don't move. The wound on your body has just been bandaged. If you move, it'll easily tear the wound." Sang Yi's black eyes looked at her as he asked meaningfully, "You know quite a lot. Are you a witch doctor?" He was handsome, but his aura was extremely cold. Being gazed at him like this, Lin Nuannuan felt a tingling nervousness. Lin Nuannuan replied slowly and carefully, "No, I'm just an ordinary female. My name is Sang Yi." "What's yours?" "My name is Lin Nuannuan. You can just call me Nuannuan." "Nuannuan." Sang Yi carefully said the name. He felt that the name seemed to have magic power as it gently swept past his heart, leaving a warm trail. Lin Nuannuan suppressed her fear of him and asked tentatively, "Where are you from? How did you come here? The wound on your body doesn't look like it's a scratch by wild animals. The wound is very flat, as though you were stabbed by a sharp weapon. Is someone trying to hurt you?" Sang Yi's expression was very calm. "You even know how to analyze wounds. You really don't look like an ordinary female beast." Lin Nuannuan smiled. She could see that he didn't really want to answer her questions, so she knew better than to pry.